All right, everybody. If you're listening, you know what that music means. We're back. It is us. It is DC Sports Plus. This is episode 10, first one since June 22nd.
Yeah, man, we're back. We're back, baby.
Yeah, I'm back in VA visiting, so getting with my cousin right here, D, and we're gonna go ahead and knock out a pod for y'all to listen to. Remember, let everybody know about the pod. We will be setting this up. We're gonna be doing Zooms here pretty soon, so we can have it actual video on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and then we'll have the obviously the links up for Spotify and stuff like that, so you can get it on there. So, okay, today is what, August the 3rd.
August 2nd.
August 2nd.
Yep.
Okay, August 2nd. So here's what we're looking at. Obviously, we're right in the middle of the training camp heat. They're getting it in right now, so we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But we were talking earlier, as soon as I got back in, and D brings up the schedule, and he wants to talk about what he feels like our final results will be. So I told him to cut it right there. We're going to put this right on the pod, and we're going to throw this out there. He's going to read off the game. He's going to talk about why he thinks it's a win or a loss, and then I'm going to come back with what I think. So, D, let's go.
All right. Well, first, as you all know, this happens every year. ESPN, all the other broadcasts, they love to break down teams and their records, and we all like to check mark wins and losses. Of course, we all know that a lot of this doesn't ever come true to form, that you mark a loss and we actually get a win. You mark a win, we get a loss. We know that. So we're taking that all under advisement here. We understand that nothing ever goes true to form or to chalk, like we like to say. But we love doing it. It's fun. Everybody does this where you look at your schedule. You know that guy that as soon as the schedule comes out, You're checking off wins and losses.
That's a win. That's a win.
Yeah,
that's a win.
Loss. That's a loss. It's part of what we do in football. Everybody does it.
Yep.
So me and my cousin here, we're going to go ahead and break it down. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and throw out the team and then throw out why I think we may win or lose. And then my cousin's going to give a yeah and then give his thoughts on it.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and get started right now. Let's shoot it off here. First game of the season, Arizona Cardinals.
Right.
I'll keep this very simple. They probably have the worst roster in the league right now. Kyler Murray won't be back till probably midseason. Maybe sooner, but not midseason.
Yeah.
So based on how inferior they are going into the season, first game of the season, I feel like that's a win. If you can't beat a team that most prognosticators and all experts have as the worst team in football, then it's going to be a long season.
Yeah.
So this is a simple one for me.
Yeah.
Got to win. Got to beat Arizona at home. Should beat Arizona at home. They're starting a backup quarterback. That's a win for me.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna. This is gonna be the easiest one.
The easiest
I believe,
one of the year.
Of the whole thing.
Yeah.
This is definitely has to be a win. Like you said, if you lose this one, Ron Rivera's seat just went from hot to boiling.
To white hot.
White hot. Okay, so I don't think there's any way they lose this game. I think the fan base is back all in. Maybe not everybody. You're not going to bring everybody back. No. But I do think everybody's seen the pictures. Everybody's seen 10,000 people out at training camp on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Even during the week, 3,000 people.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the fan base is showing up and showing out. And I think we're going to get a comfortable W and have a good feeling going forward. Like I said, I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on that. Yeah. I think it's a W, and I think we're good to go.
Fair enough. Oh. All right. So now we go to week 2. And now all of a sudden it gets interesting.
Yes.
Traveling 2 Mile High to play the Denver Broncos. Now, I get it. I know what most of y'all are probably thinking. Denver won 5 games last year. They suck. That should be a win. But we like to dive deep on DC Sports Plus.
That's right.
So, let's dive deep. Denver spent a lot of money in free agency. Doesn't guarantee anything.
No.
But they upgraded their offensive line.
It guarantees their offensive line is better than ours.
Yes.
That's what it guarantees.
They upgraded that offensive line immensely.
So who'd they get? They got
McGlinchey and
for
Powers.
Right tackle.
Yep.
And Powers at right guard.
Only the 2 best players at their positions in free agency.
In free agency.
Yep.
And they spent the money.
Yep.
Sean Payton came in and said, we're going to address this line first and foremost.
Yep.
Unlike Ron Rivera.
And they got Sean Payton.
And they got Sean
That
Payton.
can't hurt.
No. So they upgraded the line immensely.
Immensely.
All right.
You have a rejuvenated Russell Wilson now.
Yep.
Okay, you're going to one of the top 2 or 3 most difficult places to play at.
Yeah.
A place where even the Kansas City Chiefs have to squeak out wins.
Yep.
So, again, not going to harp too much on week 2. I'm going to simplify it and just say traveling to a very difficult place to play a team with a very good head coach, a much better offensive line, a rejuvenated quarterback, and Mile High Stadium, to me, that equals loss.
Yeah. And I'm agreeing with you on this one. I do think it's a loss as well. Sean Payton will outcoach Ron Rivera.
Absolutely.
So that is a plus in theirs. They have the altitude. That is a plus for them.
Their defense.
Their defense is every bit as good as Washington's defense.
Yep.
You know, so you have that. Even if you call that a draw, you know, but again,
Better coaching staff.
and
a more accomplished quarterback. Even though Russell Wilson statistically had his worst year as a pro last year, you have to figure he's going to be rejuvenated and ready to make a comeback, a bounce-back year under Sean Payton.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's Sean Payton because even I think Stephen A. Smith or somebody finally said it. Everybody knew it. Yeah. Nathaniel Hackett was hired to get Aaron Rodgers there.
And it didn't happen.
And it didn't happen.
Right.
They went with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson isn't the same quarterback Aaron Rodgers is.
No.
He didn't fit into the system. He had a horrible year. Mm-hmm. Sean Payton is used to having a smaller quarterback that can move around a little bit and throw the ball where he wants it to throw. I think it is, as much as I hate it, Russell Wilson's going to have a rejuvenated year, and I think they will beat us.
Fair enough.
So 1-1.
1-1. Okay. These next 2 are pretty simple. We're going to simplify it.
Right.
I'm going to keep it simple. The next game is Buffalo, home to Buffalo. I think when you play a team this good, it doesn't matter whether you play in Buffalo or at home. Like I said, I'm going to keep this simple. You're playing a superior team. A great, I don't want to say great, how about just an elite defense, one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the league. Again, on any given Sunday, anybody can win or lose, but the chances of beating Buffalo with Josh Allen, assuming he's a starter, I think that's just a tall task for our team and our roster to overcome. Too good of a quarterback, too good of a defense. Just don't think it's very realistic. Anything can happen, but the probability is just not there for me.
Yeah. And I agree with you, and I'll
nothing personal against my team.
No,
but call it a spade a spade.
But what you're going to see is the common theme for this is that if we say they have a really good defense, that defense trumps our offensive line in our view.
In our view,
we may be wrong, but from what we've seen with the additions that we've made and what we have going on, we've harped on this, and if you've listened to the pod, you know that we've said we didn't do enough with the offensive line. So anytime you hear us say that this defense is really, really good that we're going against, we're saying it's probably going to be a loss because our offensive line can't counter it and can't hold up to it.
Nope.
So that's my main point with this. I do think Josh Allen can make mistakes, and he probably will make mistakes. We will force him into some because our defense is good as well.
It is.
But I just think our offensive line, like you said, our offensive line just isn't there. So I agree with you. That's a loss.
Okay. Now we go to week 4, October 1st. Big first division game of the year for us at Philly.
At Philly. Okay.
I know what everyone's going to think. Oh, we beat Philly last year at Philly. Let's pump the brakes here. Okay. That was an outlier. The bottom line is the Philadelphia Eagles, where, the bottom line is this. The Eagles are a much superior team than us.
Yep.
Much better roster, better coaching staff, better quarterback. We're playing them at Philly. There's just no way that we are going – again, not to beat a dead horse here. Anything can happen. I'm sure most people didn't think we were going to win in Philly last year.
Right.
But let's go off the probability. We're probably not going to beat a team that should have won the Super Bowl last year in their home stadium with that roster. Can't see it happening. Too tall of a task, just like the previous week with Buffalo.
Yeah. And I agree with you again. And I think it's mainly we saw what their defensive line did to our offensive line last year. And granted, yes, it was Carson Wentz. Eric Bieniemy's going to have more wrinkles in there. But I think at certain points, talent does matter. And their defensive line versus our offensive line, I think is just a severe overmatch. Like, we can't say that our defensive line is very, very good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
It's a top-tier defense.
But their offensive line is so much better.
Yeah.
They're more on par with our defensive line than we could ever hope to be with our offensive line against their defensive line.
Their offensive line can match up adequately with our D-line.
Right.
Our offensive line does not match up adequately with their D-line.
Exactly.
Yep.
So now Eric Bieniemy, I do think he's going to have some aces up his sleeves. I think they're going to do some things, but obviously teams are just going to be watching Kansas City's tape. But that's not going to be everything,
right?
Because Eric Bieniemy's his own man. He was somewhere before he was in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. You know, he's been doing this for a while, so he has his own little bag of tricks that he's going to be doing, own formations, little variations of what they did in Kansas City. So they won't be able to just watch Kansas City tape and say this is what you're getting, because Andy Reid called the plays. Yes, he coordinated it, but I think he's going to be a little bit different, so you can't get just a complete read on it. But with that being said, I do think Philly is a better team, and as much as I hate to say it, I agree with you again that we are going to lose to Philly.
Okay, we're 4 for 4. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we get in. How interesting is this? Who did we play on Amazon Prime last year on Thursday that was considered maybe the worst game of the year?
That might have been the worst game in a decade.
Yes, that game was horrible.
Oh, it was terrible. But the blessing was Carson Wentz broke his finger.
Carson Wentz broke his finger.
And we didn't have to see him until the Cleveland debacle.
That's true. That's true. So yet again, we're gonna be playing. And I don't know how the NFL schedule people had this pay out again.
Man, I think they just toss a coin and say this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, for all of you who don't already know, and most of you should already know, we are on October 5th. The Amazon Prime game is the Commanders and the Bears, just like last year. Unreal how that happens again. And again, here it is. The Bears are somewhat improved. You have to figure that Justin Fields is going to be better than he was last year. But I'm going to say that we're going to get off the 3-game losing streak and get a win against a team that, you know, the Bears are still rebuilding. I think we are slightly better than the Bears. Yeah. And I just feel that we're going to go ahead and we're playing them at home. They're not an elite team. I think we're better in some areas. Justin Fields hasn't come into his own yet. It's still a question mark whether or not he is a franchise quarterback or not. So I think we get the win here. I think it's going to be a closer game than what some people might think. But I think we make a few more plays. Our defense keeps Chicago's so-so offense in check. I think Justin Fields will have a couple decent runs. He's still trying to develop his passing game. So he's not there quite yet. And I think we get the win.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you again on this one.
Okay.
I think the main thing for me is that right now, just like you mentioned, Justin Fields is a running quarterback versus a quarterback who can run. And here's what I mean by that. A running quarterback is somebody who makes their plays by running the ball, that can, break out from the pocket and make big plays and occasionally make a pass here or there.
Oh, yeah.
A quarterback who can run is a quarterback who can make those passes consistently and also beat you with his legs. Mm-hmm. There's my difference there. And I think, just like you said, Justin Fields is still learning how to be an NFL quarterback. He's not there yet. If you saw any of the games last year, when he was effective, he was getting long runs. He's breaking out. I think Jack Del Rio will beat it into the guys' heads to play your lanes, play your positions, and keep him inside the pocket. Now, yes, he will break out.
He will.
It happens. He's an athlete.
Right, it's what he does.
It's what he does. He will break out, but I do think that we will beat them. And it probably won't be pretty.
No.
It won't be as ugly as it was last year. Mm-hmm. But I do think it will be one of those games where it was a hard-fought game, but we might win by like 7 to 10 points.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll tell you that. So now we've done 5 games. We've agreed we're 2-3 at this point.
2-3 at this point.
And now a big conference game. Now it's going to get fun. Now we're going to get fun.
Now this is the part of the schedule that we both kind of think we might be at odds on.
Yeah.
So
this is where it's going to get into. So going into week 6, we play the Atlanta Falcons. Based on what me and my cousin think, we'll be 2-3.
Yeah.
As I'm sure most of you people know that watch football, there's a big difference between being 3-3 and being 2-4.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the difference between 2 games under 500 or 500.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Play the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
Okay. So, last year, we played the Atlanta Falcons in Washington. The game came down to a third down play. The ball was tipped in the air. We intercepted it and held on to a very tightly contested game.
Inside the
Inside
one
five.
or
Yeah,
five, inside the
yeah,
five.
yeah,
somewhere.
inside the five, yeah. I think that, and this is where I think it could go back. This is a very interesting pick here. I think Atlanta and Washington are very similar in that they're both around 6, 7, 8 win team, talented-wise. They both have quarterbacks that have question marks. Yes, I believe Washington does have a better defense. I think offensively, they do very well in the RPO. I believe that in a game like this, when the teams are so evenly matched, they're different style teams, but what I mean by evenly matched is talent-wise across the roster, what they're expected to do as far as their win-loss, very similar, just like last year.
Right.
And I give the edge to Atlanta here because it's in Atlanta, and you always give the home team a little bit of an edge when two teams are evenly matched. I feel that we're going to go to Atlanta, and the Falcons are going to find a way to win a tight game, and that's just my opinion. I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
All right. So come on, give me the contrast.
Here's the contrast.
Okay.
I disagree.
Okay. Okay.
and not to sit there and blow smoke up the commander's butt, but here it is. The difference is between last year and this year is what will be the difference. Last year, we had Taylor Heineke, and we had that horrible person named Turner who was coordinating our offense. Okay. Now we have Sam Howell, who, regardless of what you think of him, what anybody thinks of him, he is somebody that can make all the throws that an NFL quarterback has to make.
Fair enough.
Better than Taylor Heineke.
I agree with that.
He is just as mobile, if not more mobile, than Taylor Heineke. And he is somebody that, just like with Taylor Heineke, I do think the team believes in him. Okay? And just a little quick sidebar note, everybody that wants to say that Sam Howell was 11 of 19, that's the only one. He also had 2 drops.
He did.
So, if people want to sit there and say that, then really he should have been 13 of 19. 1 drop by Dotson, 1 drop by McLaurin.
Yep.
So, I don't want to get into all that, but I'm just saying. So, I think that the difference will be that it will be a close game. Again, I don't think we'll need a defensive stop at the end because I think Eric Bieniemy is so much better than Scott Turner, and I think Sam Howell will do enough in that offense to go into Atlanta and get the win against my guy, who I loved coming out of college. If you listen to anything
your boy.
before any of these pods that we did before the draft, I love Desmond Ridder.
Oh yeah.
But Desmond Ridder is one of those guys that I loved last year coming out of college. I think he has a chance to be a really, really good quarterback, and but I think that he's still learning, just like Sam Howell's still learning. Okay. But I think Eric Bieniemy is the difference in this, and I think we come out with the win.
Fair argument. I don't agree. I agree with some of your points. Don't agree with the outcome. But hey, that's what's great about it. We agree to disagree.
There you go.
Love it. Okay. So now we head into week 7 and our nemesis.
Yeah.
The team that essentially sunk the ship for us last year, the New York Football Giants. As you all well know, back-to-back games against the Giants. We had the first game in New York, bye week, and then, of course, the Sunday night game. I believe that the Giants, I've said this for a while now, the Giants have our number. Even Ron Rivera's first year, when the Giants were as bad as they've ever been, they still found a way to sweep us.
Yeah.
I think this is a situation where, again, it's very hard to predict division games. Like I said earlier, I don't think anybody had us penciled in and beating Philly and Philly last year. So could we go to New York and beat the New York Football Giants? Sure we could. But over the last couple of years, the Giants have had our number. We're traveling to New York. I think the Giants make a few more. I think it's going to be a tight game, just like the 2 games last year were.
Right.
Don't get me started on some of the bad calls in that game on Sunday night. That's not what this pod's about. But nonetheless, I think it's going to be a close game. But I think the Giants having a mental edge over us. I think the Giants have a better offensive line. Their defensive line is just as good. And I think they have slightly better quarterback play with Daniel Jones. Marginally better. And they get the win.
Okay.
Oh, God. Here we go. Everything's got to be a
You know
damn
what?
thing.
You know what? The Giants, I'm going to call it like it is. The Giants are trash.
Oh, hey.
The Giants are trash,
All right.
okay?
Come on, get it hype.
Now here you go. It's not like that the Giants beat us last year.
Okay.
The Giants did not beat Washington last year.
Right.
We had a Curtis Samuels, reverse was it?
For 22 yards.
For 22 yards, it got us down to the 40-yard line.
And then terrible play call.
And then 3 terrible play calls where we can't even get a freaking field goal off.
Or
Okay?
even get a yard.
Or get a yard.
Right.
Then you talk about the Sunday night game where you can sit there and say whatever you want. The dude molested Curtis Samuels in the end zone, and that's only one of the plays.
Yeah.
That's just the last one.
Right.
Okay? Giants are garbage. Okay? So, and plus, I'm going to disagree with you on another thing.
Okay.
Their defensive line is not as good as our defensive line.
think so?
No. I think they have a couple, Leonard Williams, and they have, what's the other big boy in the middle? Lawrence.
Lawrence, yeah.
Lawrence.
Dexter Lawrence.
Dexter Lawrence. They have 2 really good.
Okay.
Thibodeau only had a friggin' name on his jersey because of Charles Leno last year.
Right.
Okay? I mean, let's call it like it is. I mean, he single-handedly cost us both of those games if you want to look at it on that aspect
And
of
we
it.
talked about that.
And we talked about that.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I ain't worried about Thibodeau. They're going to help him out.
Okay.
They're going to go away from him, whatever. They're going to help Leno out. They're going to help. I ain't worried about Thibodeau because I think he's a bum. Okay?
So you think the Giants having a number thing maybe comes to an end?
I think it's done. I think it's done. I think
I like the positive attitude.
I like Brian Daboll. I think he turned them around. But it's just like what happened with Ron Rivera in his first year.
Okay.
Ron Rivera, like everybody was expecting us to be trash. We somehow went 7-9.
We outkicked our coverage.
We outkicked our coverage. We go 7-9. We make the playoffs.
Okay.
He was able to take the same team, turn them into a playoff team, and beat a Vikings team who's overrated. Okay, but they went to Minnesota and knocked off Minnesota in Minnesota.
Right.
All props to that. They're still trash.
Okay.
And we will go up there, and I ain't going to bring up the enemy every time. I ain't going to bring up this. I'm going to sit there and say Daniel Jones is trash.
Okay.
And the Giants are trash. And we're going to put them in the trash can like they deserve to be.
So you think we'll get some?
We're getting a W there.
We're going to get some revenge.
Yeah, but the hell yeah.
Okay, I like it. I want to have your optimism. I don't have it yet because I have to take a wait and see approach. But just for the record, I hope you're right, brother. Okay, I like it. Okay. All right. So here we go again. I'm going to tell you right now, this is exciting because after the Giants, another interdivision game, the Philadelphia Eagles, again, I know what y'all are thinking. It's a division game. The Eagles beat us in Philly. We'll probably nut up and beat them at home. Sorry, I'm not doing it. I understand it's a division game, but again, not to beat a dead horse, the Eagles are leaps and bounds better than us from top to bottom. I understand it's a division game, and they're tighter than normal, and anything can happen, and we can nut up and beat the Eagles. But I'm going off of the way they play down the stretch and their roster, the Philadelphia Eagles, that is, and our roster. And I'm going to say the Eagles outclass us at FedEx Field and get a win. Now, I will say this. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think we're going to give a valiant effort. But I just think too much talent, too much Jalen Hurts, too much of their D-line. I see us losing that game by 3 to 6 points.
Okay. Here's what I want you to do.
Okay.
I want you to get on your phone. And I want you to go ahead and look up Jalen Hurts' stats in the 2 games last year.
I remember them now. I remember them. Yeah.
So, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're listening, look them up. Jalen Hurts looked pedestrian at best against our defense. Okay. And the first game we lost to him last year where we got blown out, Carson Wentz was the quarterback.
And Carson Wentz is due. Right. Thank you.
The next time we played him, we beat him with Taylor Heineke at quarterback. Okay? So, I am not, and you know me, you've known me decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're family.
Yeah.
you know I'm not the eternal optimist homer.
Right. But you're going to call it like you see
But
it.
I'm going to call it like I see it.
That's fair.
I
That's fair.
think that from what I've seen, from what Jalen Hurts can do against our defense, I don't think he can do enough.
Okay.
And I don't think our offense is going to be as bad as it was when Carson Wentz was in there against their D-line, where they had like 6 sacks in the first half and like 8 or 9 sacks for the game.
Right.
So, with that being said, I think coming off of the hype of beating the Giants at the Giants, I think we're coming out with a win.
You think we get a split?
I think we get a
split with the Eagles?
Yep.
We get a
I
split.
think we get a last-minute field goal.
Okay.
And I think we win the game, and everybody is hyped about it. And it's just a feeling that I had that Philly is good, okay? I don't know if they're ready to take that next step. Yes, they should have beat, and you can define next step as you want.
Right.
My next step, obviously, they made it to the Super Bowl. It would be winning the Super Bowl. Okay? I don't think they're ready to take that next step because I'm still not sold on Jalen Hurts as a whole.
Okay.
Now, granted, he blew it up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did.
He did really good.
He did.
And overall, for the year, he had a really good year.
He did.
But he didn't crap against us.
Okay.
So for whatever reason, every quarterback has their kryptonite.
Yeah.
And if you look at Jalen Hurts play against us, it's
Was
like
it-
we're his kryptonite. Jack Del Rio is his kryptonite.
Okay.
So I'm going to bank and bet on our defense and Jack Del Rio against Jalen Hurts and say we coming out of it with a win.
Okay. I like the enthusiasm. Okay. All right. So we get it. All right. So you've got us having back 4 straight wins. Chicago, Atlanta, New York. I like it. I like where your head's at.
Climbing out of the cellar,
Climb
baby.
out of cell. Okay. All right. So after that big win against Philly, from what my cousin thinks, not me, but we'll see. That's why they play the game, right?
That's why they play the game. That's it.
2 tough road games at New England, at Seattle. Let me first break down the New England game. Patriots didn't have a very good year last year. They went 7-10. They're a lot like us last year. Really good defense and a stagnant offense.
Right.
This to me is simple. It's very difficult to win at Gillette Stadium. We all know that. Bill Belichick is a master manipulator. He knows how to prepare. Though his record against young quarterbacks is ridiculous.
Yep.
I think this is a situation where, especially if my cousin is right about the previous 4 games, and we went 4 in a row, I mean, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. But if we do such a thing, I think we have a letdown against New England. I think we get out-coached, out-schemed. I think it's a chess game, and Bill Belichick does enough on defense to stymie us to where they get a low-scoring win. I could see a 20-17, 24-20 type game.
Yeah. I'm actually going to agree with you
Okay.
on this one.
Okay.
For the first point that you brought up, Bill Belichick against young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He makes their life hell.
He does.
He identifies what you want to do before you even know you want to do it,
Before you even know you want to do it. Yep.
and he stops it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think Sam Howell. That's going to be Sam Howell's worst game of the year against Bill Belichick. And I think he's gonna. I think it's gonna be a little bit more than that. I think it's gonna be at least 6 points to 9 points.
9 points, okay.
That they're gonna beat us. So maybe 23-16
16,
or 23-14,
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just think I don't think Bill Belichick is the greatest head coach to ever coach.
Right.
We've talked about this,
Yeah, we
about
talked
the
about this, yeah.
Brady versus him thing.
Yeah.
But I do think as far as setting up a defense for success against especially a young quarterback,
No one does it better.
No one does it better.
right.
And I agree with you on that one.
Okay.
That's an L in my book.
All right, so we agree on that. And then we'll go ahead and slingshot over to the next road game. Right after that, we get the Seattle Seahawks. Now, this is interesting. We're basically the polar opposite. And what I mean by that is that we have a really good defense and a so-so offense. They have a really good offense and a bad defense.
Right.
So off of that, you're like, okay, we have a chance. And I think this isn't your Seattle team of 5, 6, 7 years ago. We had the Legion of Boom and all this and all that, and Russell Wilson and the toughest place to play and all this and all that. But bottom line is it's still difficult to play in Seattle. Pete Carroll has a prepared, him and his coaching staff prepare his team week in and week out. I think the defense will be improved. I think the offense will be just as good. And I think it's tough to travel on the West Coast and win there. And again, I kind of have this kind of like New England, where you go into a very hostile environment, difficult place to play, very good and explosive offense based off of what they did last year. And I just think that we just come up short and just don't make enough plays to match their plays to score enough points to win in that game.
All right, hold on.
Oh, okay. All right now.
All right,
Scooby Dog. Scooby Dog.
So I think I love Geno Smith.
Yeah.
I love the story.
Yeah, we both love the story.
Yeah, we've talked about how great it was.
We love that story, seeing him.
Yeah, seeing him come out as second round pick.
Yeah.
For the Jets and working his way, bouncing around.
Yeah. Had a banner year last year.
Yeah, had a hell of a year last year. Earned a contract.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's going to be as good as he was last year.
Okay.
With that being said, I agree with you.
Okay. Okay.
I do.
You gave it a little fake there.
Yeah. I tried to hook it up like that.
Yeah.
I do think, just like you said, I think you travel to New England. It's a quick trip, but it's still on the road.
Yep.
Then you have to travel all the way to Seattle.
That's a tough place to play.
And it's already a tough place. Qualcomm, if it's still called that, I don't know if it still is or whatever. Whatever the hell this name is.
It's Qualcomm. Yeah.
Okay. Tough place to play. Scenes of many a disaster for us Washington fans.
Oh yeah.
So I'll say, just like you said, I think it will be a close game. I don't think their offense is great, like you put it. I think they have DK Metcalf. They have Tyler Lockett. I think their offense is good. I don't think it's great or elite. But I do think that they will do enough to come out with like a 3 to 4 point win.
Okay, I can see that. Yep, makes sense. All right, so we get away from the two road games, and then we come back on the East Coast, and here we go again. Our nemesis are the New York Football Giants at home. Now again, me and my cousin differed on that first game at New York. I think that it's going to be business as usual. My cousin thinks we come off the schneid and go ahead and get some revenge and beat the Giants in New York. I love that thought process. Don't think you're correct, but hey, like I said earlier, that's why they play the game.
Right.
But I do think we will split with the Giants this year.
Okay.
So my prediction is late in November, right before Thanksgiving, Giants come to play us. I think our defense will keep them in check. I think our offense, because at this point now you're just past the midway point of the season. I think Bieniemy and that offense will get going with some kind of rhythm.
Right.
And I think we make enough plays to beat the Giants and split the series with them this year.
Right.
Making up a few plays, I think we get the win.
Okay. I will say this, that if this was an article and you were reading a paragraph, I would just write, see paragraph above. That the Giants are trash.
Okay.
That I don't give two craps about the Giants. I don't think they're good in any way. Last year was an anomaly. We're going to sweep them this year. And nobody can tell me any different. This crap with them getting by us and squeaking by us is over. It's a new day. It's a new era. Dan Snyder and that damn black cloud of his is gone on his boat. And this year the Giants find out what it is to go against a real Washington team. Okay. I like it. Okay. So that's a big win. All right. So we get the win there. And then, wow, talk about playing your rival this late in the season for the first time. Dallas Cowboys at Dallas. I'll keep this short and sweet. Dallas, much better quarterback, much better offensive line, very good defense in Dallas. It seems like we never win there. I think it's going to be same as before. I think we lose 27-14, chalk it up to a loss. I hate saying it, but until we get a better offensive line and we find our franchise quarterback, I think it's just going to be business as usual. Dallas outclasses us in Big D. They get the win. I think with the motivation of that shellacking we gave them in the last game in Sam Howell's first start, playing in Dallas, for the what number game is this?
No, it's actually Thanksgiving.
Oh my God! Well, that's all you had to say.
Yeah,
that's a Dallas win.
That's a Dallas win.
I mean, I think I've seen us beat them once or twice.
That was the RG3 game.
RG3 game.
Yeah, and even that game, we were up 31-7 and still almost lost.
Yeah. So, Thanksgiving games don't work out so well for Washington. And yes, I just said it was a new era.
But some things just are what they are.
Some things are what they are, and I think it actually might be a little bit worse than what you're thinking.
It could be.
I think they might two touchdown us a straight 14, maybe 17 points, like 31-14, something like that.
That could play out that way. It could play out that way.
And I hate to say that, but
I do too. It is what it is.
That's just yeah.
So then you have your long time off because it's a Thanksgiving game. Thanksgiving game, and then you get to come home and play the Miami Dolphins. Now this, of all the games this year, this to me is the most intriguing one, and I'm going to tell you why. Last year, the most polarizing team in football, in my opinion, was the Miami Dolphins. And let me expand on that before I give you my prediction.
Okay.
Last year, very quietly, and I say quietly because nobody really talked about Miami after the season, but they quietly were one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the AFC last year before their quarterback got hurt.
Oh, most definitely.
And I'll even take it a step further. They were in first place late into the season.
Yeah.
They had beaten Buffalo.
Yep.
They almost beat Buffalo in the second game.
Yep.
And in the playoff game with a backup quarterback.
Third string quarterback.
Had them beat.
Like he was an undrafted rookie or something. I mean, it was like ridiculous.
Yes. And I'm telling you right now, the Miami Dolphins are the most polarizing team in football. If Tua Tagovailoa gets off of this snake-bitten thing where he's just falling funny and hitting his head, and Tua is in that game with that offense, my prediction is the Miami Dolphins come to FedEx Field and get a win simply because, and again, I'm going to base this off Tua being healthy. Yeah. If Tua is there, the way he was clicking with his receivers, even with us having a good defense, they put up so many points and made so many big plays with that track speed they have. Yep. I just feel like they're going to make too many plays. We're not going to be able to keep up, and they're going to win. They're going to win a game. I think they're going to win a shootout. That's my prediction there.
Yeah. Last year, like you were talking about, Tyreek Hill was on a record-setting pace.
He could have been MVP of the league.
He was in the conversation for MVP of the league based on what he was doing with Tua in there.
Yeah.
And it's just like you said. To me, the only chance we have at winning is if Tua's hurt. Then we might have a different discussion.
Yes.
I'm not going to sit there and reiterate everything you said because I agree with everything that you said.
Okay.
And I do think that we're just not built like that yet. Mm-hmm. And I think Miami will come in. It may be a shootout, but again, I think that they
score enough points.
They're going to score a good amount of points.
Yeah. Well, their offense is built for that.
That's what they're built for. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is before. Now, if you're listening, this is before Dalvin Cook decides where he's going.
Yeah.
Whether he's going to the Jets or the Dolphins.
Yeah. If he goes to the Dolphins.
Oh, if he goes to the Dolphins, they're beating us by like 3 touchdowns. I mean, you just name them off, man. They just have too much power, man. They just have too much to go. So if Dalvin Cook goes there, this might be one of those ones you might not want to watch.
Yeah.
Maybe you go to church, do a little praying, and then just go ahead and barbecue and stuff, and just keep the TV off. Don't turn it on.
Just don't turn it on.
It might be bad.
I got you. Fair enough. We agree on that. Now, then we have our bye week. Again, late into the season.
Thankfully, finally they get a bye week.
Finally, late into the season.
After we agree, basically. 2 drubbings.
Yeah, 2 drubbings. Yeah,
two drubbings.
2 drubbings or borderline drubbings.
I consider that probably going to be
think drubbings. Okay.
Yeah, I think. Well, now also remember Ron Rivera's ratio.
Yeah.
Start off bad. Yeah. In the middle, kind of go good,
and then
tank at the end.
And tank at the end.
So that's what, if you've noticed, what I've been looking at, it kind of start off bad, had a 4-game win streak, go a little bad again.
Yeah.
You know,
and for all y'all not knowing what my cousin's talking about, me and my cousin, and we already knew this, but we went back and looked at the stats. The first 3 seasons that Ron Rivera's been our head coach, we have started really bad. Now, when I say really bad, I'm going to throw out some numbers: 1-5, 2-5. 2-6.
Yep.
These are the records that we have had over the last couple of years under Ron Rivera. And then we win 4, 5, 6 out of 7, 5 in a row, 4 in a row, and we get hovering around 500. And then in December, we peter out. It's been like that. It's been like that not once, not twice.
Nope.
3 years in a row.
3 times.
3 times. So that's a trend.
Yeah.
Well, it just so happens that now we're entering the second game in December. And this is another game very hard to handicap, very hard to predict, because The Rams, on paper, I mean, they won the Super Bowl just 2 years ago.
Right.
Last year, reality sunk in. They had a terrible season because everybody was hurt.
Everybody was.
You
hurt. You can't grade them
hard to grade
on
them.
Last year
because it's incomplete grade.
Yeah.
Incomplete
I mean,
grade.
they were devastated.
So this is simple. This is another one. Traveling out to the West Coast,
Right.
Playing a very well coached team,
Right.
Sean McVay football team.
Yep.
We don't predict injuries when we're predicting these games because you can't predict it.
Right, yeah,
They're
no.
unpredictable. You
Yeah.
don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Assuming that they're relatively healthy, assuming that Matthew Stafford is spinning that ball,
Right.
you have to figure that this is probably going to be a loss as well. Now, again, is it possible that we catch the Rams at the right time where they're banged up and they got a backup quarterback? It's possible, but you can't bank on it. So, all things being equal, if Matthew Stafford is the quarterback and they're relatively healthy, they're a better team. We're playing them in their in their home stadium. It's on the West Coast. It's a loss. It's that simple.
I think
Okay. All right.
that their window is done.
Okay. So you think the window's closed for them?
The window is closed for them.
Okay.
Matthew Stafford had the storybook turn of events.
Yes.
He went from a perennial downtrodden Detroit team, and he was able to get himself to, and I say get himself to because they took his input in where he wanted to go. And he wanted to go to the Rams. Because as everybody remembers, Washington wanted him too.
Yeah.
And we tried to trade for him.
Yep.
And he didn't want to come
He
here.
didn't want to come in. Nope.
He goes to the Rams, lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Wins the Super Bowl.
Wins the Super Bowl.
Last year, banged up.
Yep. Missed a bunch of games.
Which seems like this was what was happening before he went there.
Right.
Okay? Had one healthy year, they go to the Super Bowl, they win it.
Yeah.
Right now, you're hearing rumblings that they want him to take a pay cut, and he's not taking it.
He's not taking it.
Okay? I think that they are primed for a rebuild. That they haven't done it yet. Everything I've heard is they really don't want Matthew Stafford there, but they can't do anything about it. So I think this is at the late in the year. I think they're out of playoff contention. I think they have no guts, no glory left. And I think we go out there and we get a win.
Oh wow! Okay, all right. I think that again, I don't agree with what you think the outcome is going to be, but I see a road where that could happen. Meaning, the facts you were giving and the way it could play out, it could fall down.
Cooper Kupp's already hurt.
He's already hurt.
He's already hurt in
already
training
hurt.
camp. He's got a hamstring.
Oh.
Now
They linger.
What exactly? Hamstrings for receivers
Linger.
do not go away.
No.
They don't go away. He's going to be playing with it all year.
Yep.
Okay? And to different levels of effectiveness. So that's your bell cow right there.
Yeah.
So it's not Skoronski or whatever the hell his name is,
Yeah.
or whoever that other wide receiver is.
Yeah.
I can't Skoranek or
Yeah,
Skoranek.
Skuranek. Yeah.
It's not him.
Nah.
So, and yeah, like I said, they got rid of Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
So why you get rid of Jalen Ramsey if you want to compete? If you're going to be up there,
That's a good point,
Yeah. So I just think that they are prime. I think they want. I really think if they had their choice, they would completely retool this year.
Okay.
But they can't because of Stafford's contract and because of Aaron Donald. So they're going to give it a go, and they're going to finish woefully inadequately. And this is going to be a game they look at and we say, man, we lost to them by that.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think we're going to handle them.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So now, again, tough West Coast. We come right back to the East Coast, and we play maybe the most interesting team in the league this year, the New York Jets. And the Jets, we all know, have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. They have a really, really good defense. They have the reigning offensive rookie and defensive rookie of the year.
Yep.
And the crazy thing about it is that had their running back not gotten hurt, they still would have. He would have gotten offensive rookie of the year more than likely.
Yeah.
So this is a situation where we travel back to New York, play the Jets, assuming Aaron Rodgers is playing. I think this is a situation where we're just playing a team that has a defense that's just as good as our defense. Yeah. And you could argue even a little bit better because what they have on the back end.
Yeah, I'd say better.
With getting Aaron Rodgers, assuming Aaron Rodgers is playing good, I just think we're just going to be out out rostered. I think it's going to be a situation where they have the superior quarterback, they have the slightly better defense, they have the slightly better offensive line. I just think that they're going to do more than we can do. They're playing at home. It's late in the season, so it could be a very meaningful game for them, and they just beat us.
I hate to agree with you.
Agree with me.
With New York Jets.
Yeah.
But yeah, their defensive line scares me.
Yes.
And like I said, with our offensive line and the way I feel about our offensive, now they could prove us wrong.
They could.
They could be coached up, and they could come in and they could solidify themselves as a legit offensive line.
Yeah. Yeah.
And monkeys might fly out of my butt.
Yes.
Yes. But so I don't see that happening. But I just think that, like you said, their defense is more of a playmaking defense. Mm-hmm. Right now, from what we've seen of ours, I love Jack Del Rio. Mm-hmm. I think he's done a hell of a job with the defense, but I think ours is just a bend but don't break
system.
Solid defense system.
Like we talked about earlier.
A system
defense.
Right
position.
Yeah. Now, maybe that'll change with Forbes and Quan Martin and Mathis back.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll change, and maybe he can attack more. And maybe we'll have a different conversation come halfway through the year. Okay. Maybe our defense is an attacking defense, like a 49ers defense, like a Jets defense, like a Ravens defense. Mm-hmm. Maybe. I don't know. But from what I'm going on right now on August the 2nd, I say their defense is attacking defense against our offensive line, that they will come out on top based on what you had said as well.
Fair enough. Yeah. And now we finished the last two games of the season at home. The San Francisco 49ers. Now, we're catching them late in the season. You have to figure that Brock Purdy, is going to be back and healthy by this point in the season.
I mean, he's out there throwing now.
Right. He's out there throwing now.
I mean,
so you got to figure he's going to be back.
Yeah, unless he gets hurt again. But that was a kind of a freak.
It was a fluky injury.
Yeah, I mean, he's following through with the throw.
And
his arm
banged his shoulder.
Yeah, so
elbow, excuse me.
Yeah. So that he's definitely going to be there.
He's going to be there. Again, this is very much like what I feel like with when we play like the Eagles or the Bills. I just think we're going to get outclassed. I think we're going to go up against a superior coaching staff, a defense that is better than us, just like the Jets' defense is better than us, an offense that has too many playmakers. Yes, we're playing them at home, but what is it really? What does home field advantage mean for being a FedEx Field? Anyway, we're just playing. I just think that this is a simple pick game where you're picking a team that's just better than you, a team that is just quite frankly better than you. They do everything a little bit better. They have a better defense. They better have coaching staff. They have a better offense. And they're just going to win just off of that. Better roster, more talent. Right. They're going to make enough plays in the pass. Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan is going to he's going to draw up enough plays to counteract our defense, to make enough plays, to put up enough points, and their defense is going to hold serve, and they win the football game.
Now, when we played them last year,
right,
until that Heineke interception,
it was tight.
It was close.
It was close. It was.
We were. You could look at it and say we were outplaying them.
Yeah, we were making some plays. Yeah,
and I believe since we're playing them at home, that was in San Francisco.
That was in San Francisco.
Okay, so you have Sam Howell over Heineke. You have a better offense now.
Okay.
And we added some playmakers on defense.
Right.
I still don't think that'll matter.
Okay.
So I'm going to agree with you.
I figured.
I just wanted to put that out there. I think San Francisco. I love Kyle Shanahan.
Yes, we both have a lot of respect for him.
We loved him when he was here. We thought that, and we talked about it, ad nauseum before any pods ever thought of that he was to be the head coach of the Washington Redskins.
He was going to take the reins over from his father.
Yes.
And it never happened due to our owner, but we'll get into that later, but it is what it is.
So I think, just like you said, he is a genius, offensive genius, has been born and bred to do this.
Yep.
And I just think that, like you said, they're just a totally superior team. Sometimes you just go up against a team where you give it your best and you just sit there.
Not good enough.
It's just not good enough.
Yep.
We're not at that level, and you just sit there and you chalk it up to the other team. And I think that's what this is, and I think they're able to beat us.
Okay. Yep. And there you go. That's another loss. And then, and don't get when we're done. We're about to hit the last game of the season, and then we'll go ahead and tally up the wins that I thought we would get, and the wins that my cousin thought, and we'll break it down.
Because I don't know right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know where I'm at.
Yeah, we're
so
gonna
so it's going to be kind of a surprise. I know I've said a 4-game win streak, had a couple losses in a row, so I have no clue how many I've said.
Yeah, we're going to tally it up.
Okay,
and go over it. And it's amazing to me. This is so freaky that last year, the last game of the season was the Dallas Cowboys at home.
Yeah.
This year, the last game of the season was the Dallas Cowboys at home.
Well, not only that. Hold on, let me interrupt you.
Yeah.
Not only that, if I remember correctly, both of the Dallas games were the same thing in the last 6 or 7 games of the year.
Yes. Yep.
So
very strange.
it seems like a trend that the NFL is going to. I know they wanted, which is weird because
more
you look
excitement
at
in the division.
They wanted more divisional games at the end of the year.
Right.
But you look at it, we have Dallas that we end with. Before that, San Fran, the Jets, the Los Angeles Rams, a bye week, Miami. You have to go back to Thanksgiving to have Dallas again. Yeah. So they're going completely against what they said they wanted to do to have more divisional games at the end of the year.
No,
but 2 years in a row, within the last 7 weeks, we have Dallas twice.
And another thing here. Last year, we played the 49ers on Christmas Eve.
Oh, yeah.
This year, we're playing them 1 week later.
Jesus Christ.
How crazy is that?
I mean, that's just lazy. That's just lazy.
That's very lazy.
That's just laziness. Just do your damn job, NFL.
Yeah, how are you playing the 49ers in late December, back-to-back years? They're not even in our division.
That's crazy.
But anyway, I digress. So here we go. Last game of the season, the big rival game, Dallas Cowboys. The boys come into FedEx Field. I understand. I know what everyone's probably thinking, We beat them last year in a meaningless game when it had some meaning to them, but realistically it didn't because the Eagles weren't going to lose that football game. But we still won the football game. I think, based on what most prognosticators and ESPN football people and just guys that do this for a living think, Washington is not going to be in playoff contention this year. Most sports writers and professionals that do this don't think that. It's the last game of the season. Washington's going to have nothing to play for. I think, unlike last year when Dallas kind of had something to play for, but didn't really because Philly was probably not going to lose that game anyway.
Right.
I think there's a good chance this game could have a lot of seeding implications.
Right.
And I think Dallas is going to come in the FedEx Field more than likely with if they win, maybe they get a higher seed or not. And they're going to be playing with a lot of motivation, unlike last year, and they beat us simply because the combination of needing the win when we don't need a win and them having a better roster from top to bottom, I think they get the win and they sweep us.
Okay. I've given this a lot of thought.
All right.
Okay. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know how many games I have us winning right now.
Right.
I do think that it's probably not enough to make the playoffs.
Right.
So I will give you that.
Okay.
That we're not going to be in playoff contention.
Okay.
I do think that you're right on the aspect that Dallas will be in the playoffs, obviously, and they could be playing for some sort of seeding.
Okay.
With that being said, I think it's also very plausible that they could have nothing to gain, and they could rest people.
Okay.
Going against a subpar team in Washington, you're getting ready for the playoffs. Maybe, they don't have as much to play for because the seeding implications really aren't there.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that we're going to win this one.
Okay.
I'm going to say we're going to split.
Okay.
We're going to sweep New York. We're going to split with Dallas. And I think I said that split with Philly.
Yep.
So I think that playing again at home, last game of the year, that we're going to somehow, some way beat Dallas, and that's going to kind of energize the fan base even more going into the offseason with knowing that we're going to have a new front office, we're going to have a new coaching staff, and we're really going to try to build this thing up right.
Okay. I like it. I like where your head's at. So now, tally up time.
Okay, tally up time.
All right, so
you got to do yours.
I'll do mine first. I had us beating Arizona. That's 1 win. I then had us beating Chicago. That's 2 wins. I then had us beating... I don't think I had us beating anybody else. All right, let me start this again.
The second
I'm
New
sorry.
York.
Yeah, the second year I thought we split with New York. So that's 3 wins. Okay, that's 3 wins. Yeah, I have us going 3-14.
3-14.
Now, let me say something right here. I understand that we're probably not going to go 3-14. I understand that most of you that end up listening to this pod are going to be like, my God, D, they're not going to go 3-14. They're famous for winning 7 or 8 games. And they may do this. I am just going off of the information that I have right now on August 2nd, based on where I feel we are as a football team and the teams we're going to be playing and how I think it's going to go down.
Right.
It probably won't go down. If you were betting money on it, it probably won't. We'll probably win 6 or 7 games.
Right.
But based on what I think where we are right now, where I think these teams are going to be, again, beat Arizona, beat Chicago, beat New York. That's 3 wins. And
that's it.
Yeah, 3. That's 3 wins. So I said I was going 3-14.
Yeah.
And Caleb Williams comes to Washington.
He comes home, baby.
He comes home. Now.
Okay. Now where am I at? I had us beating. What'd you do?
We're good.
Okay. I had us beating Arizona.
That's 1.
I had us beating Chicago.
That's 2.
Had us beating Atlanta.
That's 3.
Beating New York.
That's 4.
And beating Philly.
That's 5.
I had us beating New York again.
That's 6.
Had us beating the Rams.
That's 7.
And beating Dallas.
That's 8.
8.
So 8 and 9.
8 and 9.
Right, which is what most people have us at.
Which is right in, and that's just
right in our wheelhouse.
Yeah, and that's not pre-planned in any way.
Nope.
We just literally wanted to do this pod based on, hey, let's talk about the games and what we think is going to happen.
Yeah.
And you had 3 wins.
Yeah.
And like I said, who knows what's going to happen?
Who knows what's gonna
Injuries make a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, all of these things happen. Maybe the offensive line gels. Maybe they win 10, 11 games.
Yeah.
Maybe the offensive line is horrible. Maybe we win 3 games.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So the whole reason of going through this is, like D said in the beginning, is it's a fun exercise to show you really how much you don't know.
Right.
Because
it will. Because trust me when I tell you, a lot of these games that I think we may win or lose, we're going to do the opposite.
Yeah.
A lot of the game, and it's going to just be wonky the way it works. The NFL is so wonky. There's so much parity.
Yeah.
But again, I think personally, my cousin has probably the more accurate count because history shows us over the last 6 or 7 years, we win anywhere from 6 to 8 games.
Right.
I am going with more of a sinking ship type situation because we seem to be we have a tougher, if you look at it on paper, it's a much tougher schedule on paper than it should be.
Yeah.
But, and I just feel like because of that, we're gonna go down and get 3 wins. Hopefully that, obviously, you would like to win more than 3 games, though, but I'm sure we'll win more than 3. This is what I initially think as of August 2nd. I could be wrong, but yeah, me and my cousin wanted to just knock out a pod, do this exercise, go down the schedule, get our inputs on what we think may or may not happen, and it's going to be fun, man. The season starts in a little over a month, and it's creeping up real fast.
Yeah, and like I said, if you haven't done it and you're listening to the pod and you're a big fan, you do it.
Yeah.
Go ahead down the roster and think of the reasons why what I'm saying is bullshit, or why what D's saying is bullshit, you know?
Yep.
And say, no, this is an argument against that. And that's all we try to do is we'll give you arguments for what our beliefs are. And obviously you see by the win total, our beliefs on this
we
season.
don't agree on everything.
Yeah, it's totally different on this year. Not to say, like I said, we're not diehard homers.
Nope.
We're not, the sky is sunny and
72 and sunny all the time.
72 and sunny all the time. We understand that. But I do think in my heart of hearts that the Giants are trash.
That could be very true.
So with that being said, that's 2 wins right there. So that's how I look at it. And like I said, it could be wrong, but it's fun to go through the process.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And this just by talking schedule, this is almost on an hour. Yeah. So we don't have time to talk any Nats.
No.
We'll try to hit one more off before I head back to Arizona next week. So we'll try to schedule that and try to pop another one, and then we'll get them out to you. But appreciate y'all listening. Like I said, make sure you keep an ear out and an eye out that we're going to be having the Zoom here pretty soon that we're going to put up on our YouTube channel. And then you'll still be able to listen on Spotify and the other music circuits that they have it on.
Holla!
Thank you.